Hi there, welcome back to another episode of English with Chris presents English Word of the Day. But actually today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So this won't be a word of the day, but hopefully it will still be interesting to you. Maybe even more so than usual. So I'm going to be looking at different ways of greeting someone or just different ways of starting up a conversation. And we're going to start off with the tried and tested hello. So, hello. This is perfectly useful, and we can use this in formal and informal scenarios. So there really is not much to say about this other than it's your go-to greeting. We also have hi. This is considered to be a shorter version of hello. It has fewer letters, but so do some of the others. But yeah, some people say this is more casual, but I honestly think this is fine in most formal situations as well. There's not really too much wrong with a hi, especially if you already know the person. We also have hey, and hey again is considered to be more casual than hi and hello. Some people would even say you can only use this with friends and family. But this could also technically be fine in the workplace. It just depends on your relationship with your colleagues or your boss. But even then, in general, I think this is something that's changing over time, and it's becoming more and more acceptable to use anyway. We can also, with hi and hey, we can add the word THERE there, hi there, hey there, and it's just a different greeting. It's just a way of getting someone's attention. Hi there, hey there, but it's also a bit more inclusive. So if hi there, hi, hey there, you're sort of specifically I don't know, grabbing this person with your words to some extent. Sounds a bit threatening. It's not threatening. We also have, of course, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. As some people might ask why I've omitted good night, and that's because good night we can't use as a greeting. So we want to remember that if you meet someone and you say good morning, this is fine. The person's going to be possibly very happy. It depends if they're a morning person or not, I guess. But if you were to approach someone and good night, they're going to think you're a little bit strange. So, they might even cross the road or speed up or, try and make up an excuse to get out of your presence. And this is just because it's not a greeting. This is something actually quite, I wouldn't say sacred, but a good night we only sort of reserve for close friends and family or spouse and better halves, etc. So it's almost intimate. Like a good night, it's something that we only say to people that are very close to us. So we don't want to be going up to people and saying good night to them. If it's your personality, I guess I can't say anything against it, but it is not recommended to say that. Anyway, so good morning. Good morning is fine. We can use this up until about 12 o'clock. So the early hours up until 12 o'clock is when we would usually say good morning. After 12 o'clock, so 1 minute past 12, we can then start saying good afternoon. And good afternoon, again, great. And in this case, people are probably more awake and probably thinking about the end of their work, so maybe happier anyway. And we would say this up until 4 or 5 o'clock. So it very much depends. Some people say 4 o'clock, some people say 5 o'clock. So the general rule of thumb is when the sun starts going down is when we start saying good evening. So again, this depends on where you live and the season, like the time of year. So this can of course be different. Sometimes the sun might be going down earlier than other times. So keep that in mind. But yeah, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all great ways of, starting a conversation or striking up a conversation. So these can be a bit formal depending on how you use them. Like I maybe wouldn't use one of these with I don't know, a friend or colleague, but again, I possibly would. It depends on my mood and how I say it. I mean, the trouble is there's a tendency to sound very formal when you use some of these. It's like, good morning, Mr. Something here. How may I help you? It's, I guess we can sometimes get this this sort of connotation of it being used like on the phone with like a receptionist, etc. And there it always sounds very formal. We can of course use this with friends, family, and we often do, but we say it in a very different way. It's like, good morning, or maybe not quite like that, but I'm sure you know what I mean or I'm trying to say, hopefully. So we can also say it's nice to meet you. So if you meet someone for the first time, it's nice to meet you. And you probably want this to be true. I guess if this isn't a workplace environment and maybe it wasn't nice to meet the person, you probably still want to say this anyway. It was nice to meet you. And there's not really much to say about it. So it means exactly as you probably perceive it to mean. So it's nice to meet you. We also have it's good to see you again. So this one, of course, if you've already met the person and then you meet them again, it's nice to meet you again. Or was the first one actually. With it's nice to meet you, you can also say it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, which is of course a bit more formal. So now moving on to some of the more informal phrases here, we have what's up. So what's up it's a bit of a tricky one because there are different ways of using it. So what's up, we can mean it specifically as a question, what's up, which basically means how are you? Depending on the age of the person that you're asking or whether this person considers themselves to be very funny or not, some people like to say the sky in response to this, but a word of warning, if you're using this with a native speaker, and you say, oh, they're using it, and you say the sky, you're probably not going to get a laugh. I mean, we've used this to death, we could say. So people have been saying this for a very long time, and pretty much every native speaker has done this at some point or another. It's always very cheesy, and yeah. But who knows? Maybe you'll still get a laugh out of it if you're wanting to go there. I don't recommend it. And yeah, so we usually say like nothing much. I'm good, etc. These are all fine responses. With what's up, we can also just abbreviate it to sup. And this is strange because this is no longer a question. So what's up is a question. Sup although it's, it could technically be a question, we also use it as a greeting, a sort of a different way of saying hello. So if I were to meet a friend out and about, I'm walking along, I bump into a friend, I don't have enough time to have an actual conversation, unfortunately. Maybe I'm in a bit of a rush, or maybe I notice that they're also in a bit of a rush. So it's very common to just, as we're walking by, we make an acknowledgement, so we know this person's there, and we want to show them like, oh, hey, it's you, I know you. So we often just say like, sup, and we do like a head nod, sup, as we're walking by. And we're not expecting a response, or if we are, it's going to be the same. So if I say sup, I'm probably expecting a sup. And this is just a greeting. I know when I'm abroad and I do my head nod or my sup or whatever, I probably get looked at like I'm a bit weird. Maybe I am, but it's something we all do. I mean, I can't literally speak for everyone, of course, but it's very, very common to do this. Okay, so moving on, we have how's it going? So how's it going? This is one that trips a few people up now and then. So when we say how's it going, if we replace it, or if we think of it as your life, so how's life going, or how's your life going, it makes more sense. So how's it going? I'm wanting to know how you are. So how is your life going? Are you doing well? Are you healthy? How's your job? Have you been promoted? Have you started a new school? Are you going to university? Lots of possibilities. I want to know them. Let me know. So we now have the very boring "How are you?" Of course, boring purely because it's used more than any of the others, but of course, rightfully so. It's a very, very nice phrase. You can use it in any situation. So, how are you? And this can also be very caring. I mean, we can use this like on the fly. How are you? Like, how are you? And when we may be expecting a superficial answer, and we can also go very deep, like, how are you? Like, maybe you know something's not been going so well in this person's life, and you're sort of very caring, very endearing. How are you? Or how are you? So, lots of different ways of using this purely by how you express it, like, or how you emphasize it. So we also have what's new or what's new with you. So when someone asks you what's new, they basically mean what's new in your life. So again, what's happened since the last time we've spoken. So maybe I've not seen you in a week. So if I asked you like, oh, what's new? I'm wanting to know what's happened in this last week. What's been going on? Have you won the lottery? Are you planning on giving me lots of money? No, this isn't what we usually think of. More likely, someone's health. Are they, are you still okay? Are you still well? But maybe even like, has something exciting happened? Like, is there something you can tell me about? And the same here with, we can add with you, and this is just a bit more emphasis. So what's new with you? Maybe the person's asked you a question already, and you're wanting to sort of turn the tables again and okay, enough about me, what's new with you? And really emphasizing, I want to know about you. I don't, I don't just want to tell you about myself. Let me know what's new with you. So this is a very nice one too. Very inclusive. And finally, we have, what have you been up to? So I personally, I use this one all the time. This is probably my go-to. And I use this with my students a lot. And actually, when I use this with my students, I do notice that sometimes there's a bit of a pause, a little bit of uncertainty. It's like, how do I actually answer this question? So if someone's saying, what have you been up to? They're basically just asking you, what have you been doing? And again, we're talking about the time that's elapsed or the time that's passed since we last spoke. So what have you been up to? Or if we want to be very specific, we can add like maybe today. Like, what have you been up to today? And then the person could say like, oh, I don't know, actually today was quite busy. I went to the shops, I had to buy some groceries, got home and had to get ready to pick up the kids, etc. So this is a great one. You can find out a lot of information about someone from this question, which obviously allows you to have a longer conversation, which is great, unless you're not much of a people person, in which case you maybe don't want to be using this one. So that's probably going to be it for today. I don't have any others lined up, but if you enjoyed this, please do leave a like. And my voice is going slightly there. So I've had a bit of a cold, hence the lack of videos lately. But if you could leave a like and subscribe, that would be amazing. Maybe you could even write a comment and let me know which of these you use the most, or if there was one that you learnt, are you going to start using it? That would be great. I will be doing more videos like this in the future, so if you're able to subscribe, that would be great. We get to see each other again. I definitely look forward to that. Hopefully you do too. If not, then that's a shame. I'll probably go cry in the corner for a bit and console myself. Not really. Okay, enough for now. So it was good seeing you all again. For those of you that came back, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye bye for now. Bye.